Welcome back to Skill Savvy DIY. I'm Russ Jones. In today's video, we're going to be trying out an ultrasonic cleaner. I've never played with one of these before ever, and I've been debating whether I wanted one of these or if I wanted a parts washer. Well, it really come down to room. Mainly, I have nowhere to set up a parts washer, so I figured with the ultrasonic cleaner, I can store it over here on the shelf when I'm not using it. I primarily wanted this. If you remember the Ford Ranger, the 2001, I haven't worked on that all summer, but I got certain things I'm wanting to do. And one of them is remove the throttle body, remove the fuel injectors, and put them in this ultrasonic cleaner. I hear it cleans up fuel injectors very well. But long story short, I'm gonna go ahead and try this on another project I'm in the middle of, and I'll show you that right now. All right, what you're looking at is a disassembled compressor off of a Volkswagen, a 2012 Volkswagen Passat. This is a variable displacement compressor, and I decided to hang on to this compressor because what I want to do is get it cleaned up really well. You can see the outside's pretty grimy, but the inside's like pristine, but it is coated in oil. So I'm wanting to strip all this oil off of every part of it, valve plates, pistons, everything you see here. And then I want to reassemble just the casing on this and cut a window into this. And then take it apart again, put it back together. And that way I can use this in future videos to show you exactly how a variable displacement compressor works. You'll actually be able to see how this wash plate right here can move and change angles. Now right here, I went ahead and took the small parts that could fall through the basket, little bolts, nuts, things like that. And I've also actually got the electronic control valve in here. I want to see how much aluminum filings come out of this, because I condemned this compressor and I rolled a bad compressor. Now I'm going to tell you right now, when I took this thing off the car, the ports right in here, and where's the other one at? That port right there. Oh, and this port right here. A lot of metal shaving. Well, you can see some right here. When you run your hand across all this oil, you can just feel the grit. You can actually see the aluminum. So this was definitely wore down to the point that it could no longer pump properly. Oh, and for the record, as you see, this already has liquid in it. That is water, and it's also the cleaning solution that I purchased, and I put the proper amount for 1 quart. Now let's take a look at this machine and we'll get more into the cleaner I'm using and such as that. All right, so I decided to go with the biggest one they make. This is a 30 liter, and they call it 30 liter, but actually where the fill line is in here, which I'll show you momentarily, that's actually 24 liters. And you want to leave enough, you know, for the weight of everything, so you don't want it to go above that 24 liters. I believe the instruction says it's got to be at least 2/3 full without damaging the machine, so we're going to get it close to that fill line. But at any rate, what you can do is take that mason jar like I showed you over there with the little parts in it. If you just got a small, you know, a few small things to do, put it in a mason jar, put it in here, then fill it up with water. That way you're not wasting all this amount of cleaner, just water only. And just do it in mason jars. All right, now it comes with its power cable, as you can see here. This is like a little tea bag thingy. That's for little small parts, jewelry, whatever. There is the instruction booklet, and it's all stainless steel. Not a lot to it. You got your controls here on the front, and you've got a basket. Now if you notice this basket, it's got rubber tips on the legs. Metal cannot touch the bottom of this. It can actually damage the unit, like it can vibrate a hole in it. That's the reason these little feet have rubber tips on them, to prevent that from happening. You can't just throw things in here and let it hit the bottom. It's got to be in this basket. So let me show you the cleaner I'm using. I picked this up off of Amazon. I have no idea if it works good or not. We're going to find out today. It's about 20 bucks for this bottle, and it claims it can do up to 50 gallons of water. I was looking for something highly concentrated to where I didn't have to spend a buku of money on a cleaner. This right here will do up to 50 gallons, and I'm going to be putting somewhere around 6 gallons in this today. And that should get me close to the top. By the time I put this jar of water in here and all the parts, then I should be pretty good. But anyway, that's what we're using. And I've got a chart that I've actually pulled up. I actually had ChatGPT make me that chart to where I could take and convert liters. By the way, this line right up here, this is your 24 liter mark, but I wanted it to break it down to gallons. I don't really have no way to measure liters, so it built me a conversion chart on how to convert how many gallons instead of liters, and then how many milliliters. I can measure milliliters, how many milliliters of this to get that 1 to 250 ratio. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put 6 gallons of water in this, and I'm gonna put the proper amount of the cleaner based on that chart that it gave me. And I'm also going to let it heat completely up. I watch a lot of videos and people turn their heater on right when they turn the machine on, and the cycle's finished before the things ever come up to temperature. I think you'll get better results if you just take the 45 minutes or hour, whatever it takes for this to come up to complete temperature. Then you'll be better off. I think you'll get a better results from it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and put the water in there, and then add the chemical, and then we'll just let it come up to heat. So I'll see you back here in about an hour probably. All right, I went ahead and got the water in here, and also added the cleaner. It foams up pretty good, I know that. Now something else I want to show you on this, there is a way to drain all this out. There's your valve there, and it comes with this drain hose. I would recommend putting a little WD-40 on here. When you push that on, it'll push it further to where it'll really hang. It threads in right here. Now if you notice, I had this on a scissor lift. I did a review on that some time back. This thing has been so handy. When I work on a car, I put my socket set across there and roll it to the car, get it the height I want. Today I've got it on here, so guess what? When I get ready to drain this out, all I have to do is just roll it straight out here and let it pour into the driveway, and then just hose it all off if need be. So let's see here. This is going to be in Celsius, by the way. I'm going to take in, I've already got it plugged up. Let me make sure my switch is on. Okay, we got a beep. This thing is set to 50. I want to go ahead and bring it up to 60. All right, that's 60 degrees Celsius. Right now out here we're at 29 degrees actual temperature Celsius. Let's turn it on. So we are heating. Once this actual matches this or close to, then I'll start this, and we'll do a 30-minute cycle. All you gotta do is just turn it on. You can adjust how long the cycle is, the amount of minutes. So that's it. I mean, it's super easy. So 60 degrees Celsius is going to be equivalent to 140 degrees Fahrenheit, which is pretty hot. That's hotter than most water heaters. Most water heaters are set like at 125 degrees. So 140, that's going to be pretty hot. And at that point, we'll go ahead and submerge all these parts down into this thing. Now there is one thing I want to do. I want to go ahead and put this basket in, and I want to put that jar, hopefully it won't stick above that. And the reason I'm doing this has got to be heated up too, so might as well do them together. We'll just set that right there, and that is right there at it. By the time I put everything else up, this water should be equal to the level of this jar here. Yeah, so there's the fill line right here, and as you can see, I'm about probably 2 inches, 1.5 inches below that. So by the time we put all this other stuff in here, it will raise the line, which should get this water pretty close to what this jar is. Either way, it's going to work. Put our lid on. Now I'm just going to kick back, maybe drink a cold beer, listen to the radio. Why not? All right, I just hit my 60 degrees Celsius, or 140 degrees Fahrenheit, you could say. Let me tell you, this cleaner It must be pretty good because I'm actually smelling fumes off of it. I pushed it right here in my garage doorway because I was smelling these fumes pretty strong here in the garage. I'm gonna go ahead and start loading this thing up. And it's my understanding that the cavitation, the part that actually sends all these vibrations through the water, kind of starts from the bottom up. So you can see the inside is squeaky clean. I'm not worried about that. I'm just wanting to strip that oil off, but I am wanting to clean that aluminum up. So we're just gonna drop that in, do this one the same way. And you don't want to lay these on top of each other. You want them kind of free and clear of each other. Don't overcrowd it, in other words. Now this is mainly going to be on the sides that needs cleaning. It's not, none of it's that bad, but it will give me an idea of how this thing is going to work. Now I don't want to do the bearing. I want to keep it oily. I don't want no rust or anything to set up. And I have a feeling these pistons are going to float. No, they're sinking good. There again, just trying to strip the oil off of them, all that refrigerant oil with the dye. That way when I go back together with this thing, I ain't got to deal with all that. Now speaking of that cleaner, from what I read on the cleaning bottle, is that you don't have to discard this after one use. Let it get, you know, to where it's noticeably dirty, then you can dump it and put fresh in here. You can just leave this stuff in here, and that's what I plan on doing. Alright, so all we got to do now is hit this on button. There it goes. That temperature didn't change by putting that aluminum. Now it's not cold out here. I imagine if it was real cold it would drop it a little bit, but it's still holding 60 degrees. The power button or power light is off. The other on button there or light is for the actual machine. 30-minute cycle, we'll take a look at it. So I want to go ahead, we're down to seconds now. Taking this off is not going to hurt anything. I do want to put some gloves on. Now I see a lot of that oil coming to the top with that dye. Yep, there it went. It just cut off. Now if this isn't to my liking, I could always run it another cycle, but 30 minutes should do it, I would think. Whew, I might have to get a glove, another glove. 140 degrees is hot to the touch. So I want to go ahead and get this out of here. I'll have to drain this separate from the rest of it. That's pretty milky looking. Pull this basket up. Oh wow, I'm already seeing a huge difference on the side of that aluminum. Alright, so it says to take this and rinse everything off. So I'm just going to take this, I'm going to put it on my driveway and rinse cold water over everything. And then from there, I will put everything back on this table and show you the job it's done. But I can show you this already. That's hard to believe that thing cleans that good. I mean, that looks great. I'll show you a comparison of when I first put it in, and then you can see the difference now. One cycle, I'm very happy with that. Fantastic. Never had to scrub, never had to do nothing. Now that stuff there is just loose. When I rinse it, all that should come off. Tell you what, anybody that tells you that these things don't clean, they're not doing it right. That is way cleaner than what went in there. And all I did was sit it in there and let the machine do the work. Look at that. I mean, that looks almost new. But man, that looks good. Now these other parts, they were already clean, but boy, it sure flat stripped that oil off of them. They're not oily at all. Matter of fact, as soon as this dries, like this piece here, I don't know if that's carbon steel or what, but I'll probably spray that with some WD-40 and anything. I think that's aluminum. This looks like stainless to me, so I'm not worried about that. Aluminum I'm not worried about. I just want to get all this good and dry, and then I'll put this thing back together one day, not on camera, just, you know, I'm going to put it back together, the case, and cut a window out, then actually put the guts back in it. That's my goal for that. And as far as all this, I do not see any metal shavings, and I actually strained it through this rag right here, and I don't see no metal shavings in there. So that tells me I made a good call on this compressor, this valve in here. See if I can get it out. Electronic control valve. It's got some ports in it, and if they get plugged up, it can cause this pencil to stick. It can cause it not to flow. And that's about the only thing that can go wrong with one of these, unless the coil itself in here goes bad. So this is still good. Wow, those are kind of grimy. It cleaned all them good. Everything. I'm very happy with it. Very impressive, and I'm also impressed with that cleaner. I could smell it. I could tell that this stuff is almost smells like a chemical, even though I got it on my hands. I try to protect my hands the best I could. Try not to breathe it because I could smell it. That's the reason I pushed it by the door. But I do recommend that for car parts. You've seen how good of a job it done. Now, granted, this was not the best thing to show how well it can do, but the outside of that compressor was pretty grimy. But I really do need that clean, and instead of trying to wipe all that oil and use spray or whatever, I said, let's give this a shot. It did exactly what I was wanting it to. Now, I will be using this in the future on parts coming off of my Ford Ranger, as I discussed earlier, and that's primarily what I wanted, was on my own projects. I'll have a link in the description box if you're interested in this 30 liter. And I do recommend a 30 liter. I showed you how you can take and put things in a jar if you don't want to use the entire thing, but you'll still have the entire thing in the case you need that extra room. But I'll have a link in the description for anyone interested. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'm Russ Jones with Skill Savvy DIY. I'm out.